Hey everybody, it's Ziz here, and welcome to Crowfall Insider, your weekly news source for all things Crowfall. And this week we're talking about the combat chat, part 2 of 2. It's the second part of the second video, and they talk about time to kill, how long you can expect fights to last in Crowfall. Also, how each armor type can affect different parts of your body, and how centaurs might be a little bit OP. Well, what do you expect? They have 4 legs. Also, we got the July Q&A video from J. Todd Coleman and Thomas Blair, and they talk about how they like stealing and thieving and taking from other players, and we might actually get to do that on one of the disciplines or even one of the archetypes. They also talk about UI mods and discarded items and monsters in your Eternal Kingdom, tons of stuff there. And last but not least is the new large fort models that we got to see. There's some actual models, what they're going to look like in game, and these are forts that you can build in your Eternal Kingdom, but also in the campaign worlds that you can use to help defend all of your stuff. Lots of cool things we're going to check out. Let's jump right in. Now, first up is the combat chat. This is the second part of their second chat, and they start talking about physics, how they have tons and tons of options, a whole wall of knobs they can use to tweak and manipulate the way that it feels. And the good thing about this is that hopefully we should get some really good feeling gameplay. Like when you're running through water, it gives you that sort of little bit of resistance, or if you're on ice, you're sliding around and all these sorts of things. Like if you're one of the Fae and you're falling down, you have the wings and you can fall slower. And on top of that, using physics, you know, blocking and hitting people and knocking them down, lots of ways for them to, well, mess it up, but hopefully also make it seem really, really good too. Also, melee range is going to be standardized for archetypes and not weapons. So what that means is, let's say you're playing a centaur, they just naturally have a longer reach than other people. So if they're using a lance or if they're using a sword or whatever, they may have the same range for a sword or a lance for the centaur, but maybe the knight has a different range, which is going to make archetypes feel different and play different. That's pretty cool too. They kind of make a joke about how centaurs might be OP. I think they're just joking, but you never know. They have 4 legs and 2 arms and a tail. I mean, they got it going on. Also, they talk about how armor is going to affect different parts of the body. So for example, let's say you have all this super heavy duty plate armor on that you found and you feel like a total badass, but you haven't found a helmet yet. Well, if somebody hits you in the head, your armor for your head is at 0 because you're not wearing a helmet. In other games, having armor all over your body helps everything about you. It's like one standardized armor number that blocks everything. Well, in Crowfall, they're trying to make it so each part of your body uses that armor piece to determine how much damage you take. So if you're using a cool cloth looking hood because you want to look awesome, you can do that, but you're probably going to take more damage than if you're wearing a giant plate helmet, which kind of makes sense. And last but not least, they talk about the time to kill. They estimate 2 people standing next to each other and just fighting and duking it out, not doing anything, just attacking, takes about 40 seconds as a time to kill. And a lot of people are saying, oh, that's too long or too short or whatever. But remember, this is just right now, this is just kind of a baseline that they're testing it out, so it definitely could change. But on top of that, if you have good play, if you're dodging and blocking and using his abilities, that could be longer. But even if it's a longer 1v1 fight, remember, this isn't a 1v1 dueling game. You're going to be out in the open world. You could get jumped by 3 or 4 or 5 people at a time. You can be in a massive battle with 50, 60 people. And if it's a 40-second time to kill with only 1 person, when you're getting attacked by 10, that's only a couple of seconds. So right now, that seems pretty good to me. It seems pretty standard. Of course, we'll have to wait till we jump in game and see how it feels to really determine if that's the right number. The second video we got was the July Q&A. Now, these are questions they got from backers on a special type of the forum where all the high rollers, they could ask their questions. But lucky for us plebs, yeah, they give us the answers as well. And some cool things they talked about here. First, they talk about people asking if you can put monsters in your Eternal Kingdom. And they said that they're not going to specifically make anything for the Eternal Kingdom. They're not making systems for the PvE side of this game. What they're making is the campaign worlds, the PvP, the fighting, but any systems that work there, because they're going to have to make monsters and guards and all these things for the campaign worlds anyway. And if they work there and they can easily transfer it over to your Eternal Kingdom, well, then why wouldn't they do that? It's low-hanging fruit. It's easy for them to do. So there might be a way to do that in the future. But remember, this is a PvP game. The Eternal Kingdom is just something to tie them together and give you something else to do besides fighting all the time. So it's not going to be your new PvE raid game. It's still a PvP game. Don't worry about that. Another question was about template building. Someone really loved doing that in Shadowbane, and they talk about how that's kind of what they're doing. They have all this stuff they're putting in, like you get to pick your archetype, and then your promotion class, and then your disciplines, and then your advantages and your disadvantages, and then on top of that they just changed armor types. So all those things together help you create your own sort of template, and you can say, this is my spec, this is the way I play, this is the Ziz right here. You want to play like me? This is the Ziz spec, right? And so they're putting all that in together. And another cool thing they said is that it's possible to make bad characters. Now, why is that a good thing? Why would anyone want bad? Well, you can't make a really good character unless you have the possibility of making a bad character. In newer games where they try to make it easy for everybody, they take away all this choice, so everybody pretty much plays the same. And when you do that, it doesn't give you this feeling of, yay, I made a cool character. It's just, boo, I'm the same as everybody else. On top of that, a lot of people like making GIMP characters. You can make this giant, huge Minotaur or something, but, you know, make him really smart. You may not technically be as good, but how funny would that be? You have this really smart centaur and you can tell everybody how smart you are. Or maybe you want to make this little tiny character with a sword and a shield or something, and you're not very strong, but, you know, there's a lot of fun combinations, and they're giving us that opportunity. They also talked about UI mods. They don't have a plan for it quite yet, but it's something they know everybody really, really wants, that it needs to be in the game, and they expect to have some sort of UI modding in the game by launch or shortly thereafter, because everybody doesn't want to look at the same UI all the time. Also, discarded items. Someone asked if you can just drop items on the ground, like in Diablo, where anyone else can see it and pick it up. And they said they don't have a plan for that yet. Right now, if you just drop it, it gets discarded and it disappears, but you can put it on like a corpse. So if you have a bunch of stuff and you don't need it, I mean, you could probably just trade it, but if you wanted, you could leave it on a corpse, like out in the woods, and then if you died and you lost all your stuff, you could run back out to that corpse in the woods where you left all your stuff, and you could get some more stuff. So there's maybe some gameplay options there. And last but not least, on the July Q&A, they talk about how they like stealing, how Shadowbane had classes and you would just steal stuff, and Thomas Blair would wait outside people's houses and steal all their stuff. We're talking about in-game, not in real life. But the cool thing is they want to do this. They want to be able to put stealing either on an archetype or on a discipline, or maybe on both, where you can actually take items from people. And remember, these are important items. This isn't just junk they got from some random dungeon. This is stuff they had to craft and they had to make. So if you can steal that from other players, that could add a lot of fun gameplay, and they're expecting to do it. It's not something they said like maybe we'll do it. They want to do it. They're probably going to do it. We're going to see that in game. I'm super excited. And last but not least is this fort design that they just put out with these ZBrush models. ZBrush is the program they use to sculpt this. It's kind of like clay, and they get it anyway. And this is the cool stuff that they have already made. They're going so quickly. I don't know, the designers they have, the artists, I mean, they're so good, they're so quick, and that's what she said. No, and this is a fort. This is the large fort. Now, if you bought a Kickstarter package or one of the newer bundles, they might have had one of these, so you might get one of these already, but you can earn this and get this and build this in the game, in your Eternal Kingdom or in the campaign world. Now, there's a couple of reasons why this is cool and why I'm so excited to see it. First is that it gives us an idea what it's going to look like in the game. I mean, there's a ton of different renderings here. I mean, they look really, really awesome, and it's all just gray. Obviously, it doesn't have the texture on it yet. And the reason why is they said that they don't want to spend the time, and they said this in the past, they don't want to spend the time doing all the artwork and putting all the, you know, thatching on and all the wood and making it all look pretty, and then testing it and finding out, hey, this doesn't work very well. These doors aren't big enough, and it's too short, and the wall over here doesn't work very well. It's not wide enough, and then have to go and make all these changes and then waste all the work they did. And so that's why it's just this gray block, and you might say, oh, that's not very pretty, but it is pretty because just imagine all the fighting you can do in the campaign world. You can build this inside the campaign. So let's say you go find this cool quarry or find a really good defensible position. You get enough material together in your guild or your group of friends or people on just on your side that you're working with, you can build this, and then you have this awesome defensible position. So you can store your materials there. You can, get it all together before you take it to export it. Lots of cool things. And on top of that, you can also put this in your Eternal Kingdom. Now, the reason why you would want this in your Eternal Kingdom is, sure, you don't need walls per se. No one's going to attack you in your Eternal Kingdom, but you can use this and it gives you other building areas. So maybe you have this keep, this fort here, and inside the fort you have NPCs that are selling your stuff, right? So lots of cool stuff. It gives you an idea what it's going to look like in game. You got all your banners, and I can just imagine the wood beams, and like, look how big this guy is. This large fort is really large, and there's keeps and castles and citadels that are even bigger than this. But also, they have this model already. This is the stuff they're building for the combat milestone that they're doing this summer. So when testing starts in just a month or two, with alpha testing and combat, we're hopefully going to have these buildings in the game to fight over. So it's not just like this boring, plain, flat world that's like worthless. I mean, we're going to have this cool stuff to fight over, to play with. Lots of cool stuff. If you don't have this fort, you can buy it just for $50. Like, let's say you have a package that didn't give you any buildings. You could buy this by itself if you wanted. But really cool stuff. I'm super excited. Check it out. Just imagine all the destruction that can happen here. I can't wait. That's it this week for Crowfall Insider. We talked about the combat chat, part 2 of 2, and the time to kill around 40 seconds. What do you think? Is that too long or too short? I think it's pretty good. It sounds pretty good to me, but of course we'll have to wait and see how it actually feels in game. Also, the July Q&A, I'm super excited that we might be able to steal stuff from other people. I think I'm a troll at heart, and if I can steal your stuff, that would make you rage quit and log off. Oh my goodness. Best game ever, NA. And last but not least, we got to see the fortifications, stuff that we might be able to play on in the game. Looks really, really awesome. I can't wait to see that. I'll have the links for all this down below in the description, and let me know in the comments what you think. Did we miss anything? What are your takes on all the information that we got this week? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.